Do you know the difference between a machinist and a machine operator? You're about to find out on this episode of Man vs. Robot.
Robots are the future.
On this episode of Man vs. Robot, we're going to talk about the difference between a machinist and a machine operator. Here with Machinist, Kenny Partanen.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
We already learned what a machine operator is on the robot. So can you explain a little bit of what it means to be a machinist?
So there's a major change in the way that a person has to think when they transition from being a machine operator to being a machinist. And your machine operator can use the machine, they can produce parts, but the machinist is the person that sets the machine operator up for success. They take your print and they decide what tools you're using, they're setting the program, they're doing the setup, they're making all of the decisions and doing all of the math in order for this machine to produce good parts.
So what you're saying is, you can speak the machine's language?
Exactly. How else are you going to tell the machine how to make good parts for you?
So this machine language that you know because you're a tool whisperer, machine whisperer, what is this language that powers this machine?
Well, let me download a program and I'll show you. I have up here a load program. This program has the part number for the program that I'm looking for. I'm going to send this to the computer. The computer understands that part number and is going to give me a program all by itself.
That's pretty nifty. Who set that up?
I did.
Of course, because you're the only one that speaks machine. Can you speak machine language? Because Kenny can.
So, bleep, 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 bleep. I'm going to output this code. This is the 08500 program. Execute. That's off to the computer. Now I got to get the machine ready to download what it's going to send me. So F input, I know I need 04392. Execute. Machine's sitting here blinking, downloading the program for us, and then I can show you more about the language that I use to tell the machine to make parts for me.
Tell me, is it the language of love?
Wouldn't you like to know? I'm going to be using G and M codes to tell this machine where to go, how fast to move, and how to produce this part.
Does that stand for GREG codes?
It could.
Machine language is about to pop up from the other computer. Right about now. Now. Load now. See, it doesn't speak my language. Only Kenny can talk.
Set up on purpose.
That's what happens. They always screw with the FNG. The fancy new guy. How do I learn to speak to a machine as good as you?
Well, it definitely takes a lot of practice. There are so many G codes and M codes, and they're a little different for every machine, but in general, once you know the basics, you can apply those to every machining center that you come across.
So guess what? We have an apprenticeship.
You do?
If you're interested in joining our apprenticeship at Sonny's the CarWash Factory, please contact us at info@tpomft.com.
All right, so this is our code that explains how to produce this part.
It's a rain and coolant.
Yep. I have to produce over 100,000 of these every year.
Huh.
So tooling selection and the setup of producing this part is very important. Every second counts in how quickly we produce this part. So I chose which taps to use, which drills to use, which cutoff tools to use, and programmed how fast that this machine is going to use those tools to produce this part.
Huh. Can we see it run?
Absolutely. Go ahead and close that door. You want to hit the rock and roll button?
Do I? I gotta say, I saw a lot of matrix code flying across, and is that G code you were talking about?
There's all kinds of code flying across that screen. I feel like this is a little easier to understand than matrix code.
Well, maybe for you, but for the FNG like me, that's the fancy new guy. Are you the FNG in the shop? The fancy new guy? Well, I am too. Follow my journey and watch Machining 101, where Kenny teaches me everything I need to know about machining and manufacturing. Visit us at thepeoplemanufacturing.com for all you FNGs out there. I want to learn how to program this machine. What do you suggest I do?
I think you should start simple. Start with drilling holes, start with learning offsets, and how to apply those.
So a lot of those that you just described to me sounds a lot like the machine operator we were talking about.
Your machine operator can actually watch this code go by, watch where the machine is, and see what tools are doing, and start to piece together what's going on in there. Because every line in this code is telling this machine to do something, and it's there for a reason. So as you start to notice B minus 27.5, and you're noticing which axes are going to what places, you can find those values on your print and piece it together.
So what you're saying is a machine operator versus a machinist. Your machine operator is your starting point and your machinist is your goal?
Absolutely.
So on this episode of Man vs. Robot, I learned a lot from one of the best machinists I've ever met, Kenneth Prime.
That's not my name. I'm not a robot.
Oh, well.
Or a Decepticon for that matter.
Well, you're a Prime, man. That's the highest honor. It's like Master Machinist. You're Kenneth Prime. Thanks for playing a prank on the FNG, your boy, GREG-A-TRON. So I really appreciate your time. This episode of Man vs. Robot was brought to you by Sonny's the Car Wash Factory. Sonny's is the largest conveyorized car wash manufacturer in the world. For more information, visit sonnysdirect.com.
GREG-A-TRON walking out.